So a year ago now, this company reached out to me and offered a large sum of money for a review of their platform. However, because I don't actually do sponsored reviews and the fact that they didn't have a stocks and shares ISA, I completely ignored the offer. And of course, you didn't see any videos about this platform on my channel. So fast forward about a year on, and the platform seems to be very competitive. And I thought I'd actually have a first look at this new platform. So the platform is called XTB, and I think it gives a lot of stockbrokers in the UK a run for their money. So let's go straight into it. As you can see, their main feature is that it is a low-cost platform with zero commission, which sounds very similar to some other platforms that we have used here in the past, for example, Freetrade and Trading 212. Now, full disclaimer, this video is not sponsored, so I didn't receive any money from XTB to make this video. I'm making it on my own accord. I've left a link in the description box down below. If you want to sign up to XTB after hearing my opinions on it, then feel free to use that link, but it is an affiliate link, meaning that I get something from it. So in that regards, I can't completely get rid of my bias, but I'll give you my true opinions on this platform. In fact, I am looking for a new stocks and shares ISA, and if this platform actually, ticks my boxes, then I don't see why I wouldn't go for them. And you know that XTB or anyone else is not going to be paying that £20,000 that I'm going to put into my ISA, so do bear that in mind. So you can enjoy zero commission on stocks and ETFs up to 100,000 euros monthly, which of course most people watching, that is a lot of turnover. Now I'm not 100% sure what they mean by turnover, but I feel like they mean if you make more than £100,000 in turnover, meaning basically making that much, not depositing that much. But in either case, I feel like that threshold is pretty good. After 100,000 euros, it is 0.2% or a minimum of £10. Not sure why they are mixing euros and pounds there, but it seems reasonable enough. Now, the other thing is that you have free deposits, free withdrawals from £50 onwards. So there is no free withdrawals for less than £50. Could be a deal breaker for some, but for me, that's fine. And of course, the account is free to open. Now, the selling point about XTB is that, they have a huge amount of stocks and ETFs that you can invest in. I do have to caveat that there is a ongoing risk warning at the top, and that is because they are talking about CFDs. CFDs are something that I never talk about on this platform. They are very risky. Over 73% of retail investors lose their money on that. I will never give any details on CFD, but this platform offers CFDs. I don't talk about CFDs. I only talk about stocks and shares, and in particular stocks and shares ISA. So just bear that in mind. If you are going to use this platform, please don't go into the CFD side without, of course, assessing your whole situation. They also have investment plans, which I'm not going to go through in this video, but if you guys want to see me cover more stuff on XTB, you might not want to. I'm happy to do that. This is just a quick look. Like I said, they also offer Forex, commodities and indices, something I won't touch. This usually includes leverage. Again, something I will never cover on this channel. They also do have interest on uninvested cash, very similar to Trading 212. As you may know, I am quite biased towards Trading 212 because I feel like for me personally, it has been the broker that has ticked all the boxes. But again, as someone who is very into finance, I do want to, have the option to be able to put into more brokers who are very competitive. So I'm very happy that there is more competition in the UK, and they have won an award. But again, I don't know who Cuffs are. Maybe they're big. I don't know. A few key stats: over 1 million investors, over 5 million app downloads, and over 20 years in the market. So I didn't know that. I thought XTB were new. I stand corrected. They could probably have been operating under a different name, by the way. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is also the face of XTB, which, if you like football, is good. But anyway, I'm not here on XTB because of the stocks and shares they provide. A lot of brokers provide that. I'm interested in XTB because now they have a stocks and shares ISA. If you want to find out the stocks and shares ISA, just hit the 3 horizontal line menu over here. And then weirdly, it's under save. So go under save, and then you can see ISA here, open individual savings account. I've already opened mine, and I'm going to walk through what it looks like. So as you can see currently, their stocks and shares ISA is a flexible ISA, which is really good because you can take out all the money from your stocks and shares ISA, and providing you put it back in the same tax year, your ISA allowance is not affected, which is amazing. Previously, I thought you can only take out £20,000, but no, you can take out the entire amount on a typical flexible stocks and shares ISA, and then as long as you put it back in the same tax year, your ISA allowance is not touched, which is amazing. Now, one thing that no other brokers can be beating is their current offer. If you sign up with the stocks and shares ISA, you get 6.5% on your uninvested cash for a limited time only, which is extremely good. And I might be tempted to put my money into them just for that that alone. So as you can see, their stocks and shares ISA is free, unlike, free trade. They also have zero commission on stocks and ETFs. Again, there will be a commission if you are turning over 100,000 euros, which is around 90 to 95,000 pounds. They do have quite a high foreign exchange fee. So if you're looking to invest into American stocks, trading 212 still will be cheaper, and also Robinhood will be cheaper, but Robinhood does not have a stocks and shares ISA. 0.5% is their foreign exchange fee compared to 0.15% on trading 212. Now, this interest on your uninvested cash or your free funds is calculated daily but paid out monthly. On trading 212, you still get paid, daily on your trading 212 stocks ISA, not the cash ISA. That's different. So if you open your stocks and shares ISA with them, your interest on uninvested cash will be boosted by 2%. So remember, this rate is variable currently. I think it's 4.5%. That could drop, but you should be boosted for the first 90 days. So if you sign up to XTB with the stocks and shares ISA, deposit your money, you can get a boosted 2% annual equivalent rate. This actually makes it incredibly attractive for the stocks and shares ISA, but again, I'm not going to just use it as my stocks and shares ISA just for that rate. I do intend to invest. Now, just to cover the basics in terms of, the regulations, XTB is FCA regulated, of course. There will not be any brokers here mentioned that are not FCA regulated or compliant. And if you are worried about FSCS, which is grossly misunderstood, yes, of course, cash put into them will be covered by the FSCS. That is also a very last resort thing. And generally, speaking about it, there's a lot of confusion. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So here is the XTB app. It might not be for everyone. It is quite complicated. So the first thing you do see is CFD, CFD, CFD. So like I said, I would warn you, unlike trading 212, where the CFD stuff is separate, here it does seem like that is the first thing that is shown to you. So do be careful. Don't just invest straight away. So if you want to get to your stocks and shares ISA, hit the portfolio button at the bottom. And now you can see this is my balance. I haven't actually added anything, but you can see you can add money here quite easily. You can top up with your card. Now, I'm not too sure if there is a fee on the card after a certain amount, but it does seem like you can top up with a card or bank transfer as usual, which should be free. Now, if I scroll down to the middle, here's the only account that I should be using. That's the ISA, the ISA. And when I go into it, you can see it says my flexible ISA on the top, and I have no money in here because I have maxed out my stocks and shares ISA. If I decide to go with XTB, then I will deposit my account with £20,000, and then I can actually buy and sell some ETFs. Now, it's very important to note once again that this is a very trading focused platform, unlike something that is more designed for longer term investing. So you'll see a lot of stuff like my trades, profit and losses and stuff like that. Now, personally, I don't mind that. I prefer being able to decide when I want to buy and sell, as it gives me more power over my money. Of course, that isn't to say you can't buy and just hold, because there is no commission. So you can buy and hold ETFs or stocks as you wish. With American stocks, there will be a 0.5% FX fee, so it might not be worth it here. But anyway, let's see, if I were to buy some ETFs, what would I do? I personally would not go for individual stocks, but if you wanted to, for example, Barclays here, you can buy it here and it will tell you the current price, and then you can change the amount that you want. For example, in pounds, it does give you the ability to buy fractional shares. So for example, £1 should be fine. And then if I go to buy, it will tell me the estimation of the fractional shares that I can get. With UK stocks, there also should be stamp duty. I'm not sure where it's included here, but I'm sure it will be, or maybe there'll be a minimum amount to trigger that stamp duty. But either way, you can see it's very trading focused. You can see the candle bars and candlesticks here. You can put in a stop limit order, which is really good. I like to see that. And I do think those options are free, unlike free trade where you have to purchase them. So let's go in and see if they have my favorite ETFs. For example, the IUSA. Over here, I can confirm they do have the IUSA. They have it in euros and pounds. I do want the pounds. So this is essentially the S&P 500. You can change the candlestick duration from here, for example, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever you want. Let's see if it allows us to buy £1 worth of shares. So for example, if I wanted to put in £1 into the IUSA, I could do that. I get a fractional share. So really happy to see that. And you can see there is zero commission here. So overall, my first look into the XTB stocks and shares ISA has actually been pretty pleasant. I do love the fact that it is zero commission and has a bunch of ETFs. I haven't, of course, gone through the full list, but if it has the IUSA, I'm happy. Let's quickly check VWRL. I'm not surprised that all these famous ETFs are here, so you shouldn't really have a difficult time finding an ETF that suits you. Zero commission for most people, fractional shares, free to open stocks and shares ISA, interest on uninvested cash. I really do think this might be my next stocks and shares ISA. So make sure to check out some of my other videos and I'll see you in the next video.